The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Actively stepping in means that you are on purpose giving your child the opportunity to feel uncomfortable so they can get to the other side. The goal is not to ensure that your child feels comfortable all the time. You know that saying that people use all the time? Well, I want you to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. I go, no, I just want you to be uncomfortable. And then be, yeah, I got through it. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It really is.
Welcome to Season 8 of Flusterclux with Lynn Lyons, where we talk about managing worry, anxiety, and all the other emotions too.
I'm Lynn Lyons. I'm an anxiety expert, author, speaker, and mom. I've been a therapist for 35 years, and I'm still in the trenches with families, helping them navigate daily struggles and big problems. Parenting can be a flusterclux, but we tackle the serious stuff without being too serious.
I'm Robin. I'm Lynn's sister-in-law and co-host, and I'm here to ask your questions.
And I'm Ed, the producer of Flusterclux.
And my brother.
And my husband.
Anxiety is a family problem with a family solution.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, Robin.
How is your energy going for January and thinking ahead?
Pretty good, I think. Yeah, you've heard me say this. I don't love the holidays. So when we move, everybody's like, oh, January. I kind of like January because I really do feel like I can sort of get all the other stuff out of the way and kind of get down to business. I'm kind of a January girl.
I don't dislike January. I like the fresh start energy that September and January bring.
Yeah.
It's like an ingrained school calendar.
Yeah. And December, even though I had a really busy December this year, unusually busy, December feels to me like there's so much going on. And I hate people like, well, we'll get back to you after the holidays. So then I'm really glad when it's after the holidays so I can sort of get back to work.
Yes. Well, I'm very excited to hear what you suggested for today's episode because families are also trying to get back to work. In our house, we're always talking about more sleep, healthier food, more movement, more play. You know what I think we're going to try this year?
What?
Swing dancing lessons.
Oh, really?
Not all four of us.
Oh, you and Ned.
Yes.
Yeah. My husband took a swing dancing class in college, actually. Yeah. So he's still got a few of those moves.
I think it's a fun way to bring in like high energy, play energy, but as adults.
Well, the other thing that I like about swing dancing, because he taught me a little bit, is that I have a horrible problem with my lefts and my rights. Like step aerobics back in the day was just the hardest thing for me in the world because I really have trouble with that. Like left and right.
You're also not a navigator either.
Yes. Well, I think those two things are very, very connected, to be honest. Yes. But swing dancing doesn't really have a lot of that left and right thing. Like I didn't experience it that way. So I like it because I don't have to know my left from my right as much.
But I will report back after we go to our first effort.
Before we move on, we did that mother-in-law episode.
Yeah.
Okay. And my mother-in-law doesn't listen to the podcast, so I can say whatever I want.
She doesn't even know that you have a podcast.
She doesn't. I don't even think she knows what a podcast is. So here, can I just tell you what I got for Christmas?
Yes.
So she arrived with 3 envelopes for the men. So for my husband and her 2 grandsons. So they all got a card with a check in it for $100. Very generous. And she gave me one of her sweaters.
Can you describe this sweater?
It's nice. It's hot pink, which I don't like pink. I don't wear pink, but I don't think she knows that either. It's like a casual V-neck, partly cashmere sweater, but I think like it didn't have any tags on it or anything. Like I think she just took a sweater out of her drawer and wrapped it up and gave it to me.
I just think that you need to return the favor. And I think you need to just wrap something really, really random and give it to her. And I heard a very smart podcast once about difficult mothers-in-law, which I think we did in the first season.
Yeah.
But it's about gamifying this sort of stuff.
No, we did the podcast episode on mother-in-laws just a few weeks ago.
No, I know, but the original one we did.
Oh, the original one.
Yes. And, with the passive aggressive.
Yeah.
The sign. So if you gamify it and come up with some really fun, really random regifting things.
Yeah. Maybe just like a spoon,
We could use that. We're missing our spoons.
Oh.
Yeah. So you never know. Have fun with it.
Okay. I'll do my best. But anyway, I just wanted to give everybody an update because when I say that my mother-in-law is difficult in a lot of ways, this was pretty amazing. So on the theme of January and sort of fresh starts, what are the things, and there are 6 of them, that we want families to really pay attention to? So you've been listening to the podcast for a while. You've been taking in all of these tips. You've been putting things into practice. I just want to give you a little January pep talk of what are the things that I really want to make sure that you're doing. And there are things that you can do as a parent, of course. There are certainly things that if you're in therapy, I want your therapist to be doing with you, because they're all things that go directly at the patterns of anxiety and its pal depression. They're all things that are doable that I want you guys to be paying attention to.
That sounds great. What is the first one?
The first one is that I want to make sure that people have good psychoeducation about how this anxiety thing works so that you can change your responses to it. So top on the list, there are a lot of good resources. Of course, this is one of them. Anxious Kids, Anxious Parents is another good one. If you're an adult, The Anxiety Audit, my book about that. But there are many, many good resources. The book by Ellie Leibovitz about understanding how worry works, how anxiety works, so that you don't get pulled into all of its tricks and all of its seemingly big, powerful, mysterious things. We know that worry shows up. It makes an announcement. It makes a rule. Its goal is to say, you can't handle it. And its goal is to pull you into this really compelling practice of making it more complicated than it needs to be. This is the old thing of that the content really doesn't matter to me. Understanding how worry works so that when it shows up, you're like, oh, that's worry. And we're not going to get sucked into its games. We're not going to get sucked into the minutia of what it wants to pull us into.
And what age do you always tell parents to start talking about the anatomy of worry? How do you break it down? It's pretty young.
4, 5. Worry shows up. We pull it out. We give it a name. You've all heard this before. So we call it Louise. And Louise shows up. And it's really helpful for families to understand that when Louise shows up, Louise has a goal of freaking you out, of causing physical symptoms in your body. So that psychoeducation is so important so that you and your children understand why and how your body is going to react when worry is in charge. It demystifies it. So the more that your family can just kind of very routinely, very nonchalantly, very basically talk about, yeah, this is worry. This is what worry does. Worry shows up. Get your body going. Makes your tummy feel weird. The more that you can talk about that with your kids, make it a part of being a human being, rather than making it something that we have to figure it out. We have to investigate it. We have to know what's going on.
You just normalize it.
Yep. You just normalize it.
You actually had us do an episode for some families where the parents are like, we can't say anxiety. We can't say worry, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in that camp, you're not helping.
Correct.
You have to normalize this as a human emotion and talk about it probably a lot.
Yeah. The thing I love to say is that worry's job is to promote things to an emergency. They're not an emergency. And when it promotes something to an emergency, your body responds as if it's in an emergency. And so our job is just be like, of course, of course, of course. Of course you're going to feel worried when you do that. I talk about Michael Yapko a lot. I hadn't seen him in 2 years, and I just got to spend time with him and his wife, Diane, in California at the end of December. It was so nice to see them. But I always say, I don't get nervous when I speak. I love to speak in public. The more, the better. I love a big crowd. But I always say, with the one exception, is that if Michael is going to come and sit in front of, in the audience, doing this thing. It's at a big conference, and he and Diane were sitting right in the front row. Right in the front row. And I said out loud to everybody, right? I always say I love to talk, but the one thing, as an anxiety expert, the one thing that makes me a little nervous is when this guy is sitting right here in front of me.
He's like your mentor for people who don't know.
Yes. And he's such a good friend. And he's one of my biggest supporters. I just sort of said it out loud. And I was a little nervous having him there listen to me. And it did feel a little strange to have him right in front of me, hearing me do the presentation I do all the time. It just was a little different. But I didn't think, I shouldn't feel this way. I didn't think, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be nervous, and I didn't say to myself, but he's your biggest supporter. Why would you be nervous in front of him? I was like, of course I feel this way. And it was fine.
Well, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we have 5 more of these helpful tips.
All right. If you're like me, the beginning of the new year, you start thinking about your financial goals. What do you want to save for? Are you going to take that trip? Do you want to make sure that you're contributing completely to your retirement accounts? There are a lot of things to think about. Managing your money doesn't have to be a struggle this year. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It brings your entire financial life, budgeting, accounts and investments, net worth, and future planning together in one dashboard on your laptop or phone. Start your new year on the right foot financially and get 50% off your Monarch subscription with the code FLUSTER. Monarch makes it easy for you to start fresh after the chaos of the holidays, right? We're all sort of looking for that reboot to just sort of stop, get our feet under us, and figure out what's important to spend our money on, how to save. They have automated weekly money recaps so that you can track your progress towards future financial goals. It's easier than ever. This new year, achieve your financial goals for good. Monarch is the all-in-one tool that makes proactive money management simple all year long. Use code FLUSTER at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code FLUSTER. We know by now that sleep impacts our skin. When you wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you're like, ugh. This is what Osea's Dream Collection helps address. It up-levels your nighttime skin routine. Osea's Dream Night Serum and Dream Night Cream are clinically tested formulas. They're powered by bioretinol, and they are designed to reduce the visible effects of stress on skin while you sleep. You give your skin a rest. You say goodnight to dryness, to dullness, to wrinkles, to that lack of firmness. Putting on Osea at night as part of your nightly routine promotes that sense of serenity for a restful night. It helps me settle in for the night. My skin feels nurtured. I feel taken care of. Osea has a new product in the Dream Collection. It's the Dream Bioretinol Body Serum. I can't wait to incorporate this into my personal body care routine in 2026. It reduces the visible effects of stress on the skin. It visibly firms and improves elasticity, smooths the look of lines and wrinkles on the body, and it's got less potential for irritation than traditional retinol. The goal of these products is to promote a restful night while visibly firming and improving your skin's elasticity. So give your skin a rest with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now, we've got a special discount just for our listeners. Get 10% off your first order site-wide with the code FLUSTER at OseaMalibu.com. You don't have to convince me that great sheets make a difference. I love high quality sheets. I remember when I was younger, I went to a friend's house. He had terrible sheets. It truly makes a difference in how you sleep, how it feels to get into bed. Boll and Branch sheets make a difference. It's just a fact. When I first got my Boll and Branch sheets, I knew what I was in for. I believed the hype because they're made with such quality, and man, they live up to it. They are made from the finest 100% organic cotton with a difference in craftsmanship that you can immediately feel. They are buttery soft, and they're made to get softer with every wash. If you want to feel quality immediately, get some Boll and Branch sheets. It will make a difference in the way you sleep. Trust me, they are so much better than average old, low-quality bedding. Discover a softness beyond your wildest dreams with Boll & Branch. Get 15% off your first set of sheets plus free shipping at bollandbranch.com/Flusterclux with code Flusterclux. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLANDBRANCH.com/Flusterclux. Code Flusterclux to unlock 15% off. Exclusions apply. Okay, we're back.
Okay, Lynn, we're leveling up for 2026 with our anxiety management. What is number 2 of your tips?
Okay, number 2 is going to be, this is about actively stepping in. I actually spent good chunk of time in December working in this amazing school district that is working on changing their approach to handling anxious kids. And we really went after the accommodations because that is such a common practice, is to try and figure out how can we help kids feel more comfortable by not making them do things. So number 2 is to really make sure that you are actively stepping into the things that make you nervous, that make your kids nervous, so that you can lay down those new pathways in your brain. It means that you're going to really pay attention to, are you avoiding things? Are you trying to cut corners, or you're trying to do this or do that so that you don't actually have to deal with the thing that makes your child anxious? You really want to pay attention to that, to pay attention to how you are accommodating and how you can actively step in to practice. That's the second one.
From a place of love, we want to make our kids happy and comfortable, but that's not really always serving them. So when we accommodate, like the examples you often give is like, my child's really afraid of dogs, so we make sure that no one can bring a dog to the park.
An example might be when we go to a restaurant, if the child is not comfortable in this certain restaurant, or the child is not comfortable eating this certain food, we're going to make sure that we always go to a restaurant where the child feels very comfortable. A lot of the accommodations happen around going to school and how they get to school and how they enter school and who meets them at the door for school and what activities they can participate in school. And you really want to, and again, the psychoeducation comes first because we want kids to understand our rationale for doing this. But how are you taking steps to make your child more comfortable? And again, that sounds like a very reasonable thing to do, but you're taking steps to make your child more comfortable in the absence of letting them actively feel distress so that they can get through it and build their confidence. Accommodations are what the anxiety disorder wants. The level of a family's accommodation predicts whether or not I'm going to be successful at my job.
Okay, Lynn, so what's number 2?
We want to make sure that you are actively stepping into things. And the clinical term for that is exposure therapy, of course, that we are exposing your child to things that make them uncomfortable so that they can lay down those new pathways. The opposite of that, of course, is avoidance and accommodation. And when we're accommodating, we're really turning to the worry and saying, is this okay with you, worry? And if worry says, no, we can't handle this, your goal is, I know it sounds counterintuitive, and I know it's very typical of what anxious families do, but the goal is to look for opportunities to actively step toward the thing that is making your child anxious, rather than put in those accommodations that try and manage worry by saying, we're just going to do this so that she doesn't get upset, or we're just going to do this so that she doesn't feel anxious, or we're just going to do this so that she doesn't resist. All of that makes the problem worse.
I love an example you gave that was very clear in another episode, talking about like if a child has a pattern where they get very, very afraid if they're startled by a fire alarm. So you might want to accommodate by warning the child, having the child leave the school and go out to the playground and avoid the experience of the fire alarm. But you have to ask yourself, what's the off ramp for that? If the child doesn't get to practice being startled and hearing loud noises, what's going to happen later on in life, because there are no guardrails that will protect her and help her avoid that experience. So why not practice now?
Right. And people oftentimes miss the point of a fire alarm, which I talk about a lot, is that the goal is to have them practice getting out of a situation that's dangerous, right? We have a fire drill. But really, the goal is to have a child and an adult be startled by the unexpected nature of this, right? There's a fire drill. And then after being startled, be able to tolerate being startled and then get their prefrontal cortex back online so they can follow the instructions that they need to instruct. People say, well, we're going to tell her ahead of time that there's a fire alarm because she gets startled by the noise and we don't want her to be startled. And I will often say, oh, but being startled is actually one of the most important parts of a fire drill. That's the skill that we want to develop, is that ability to not know when it's happening and still be able to manage it. Yep. I mean, there's all sorts of examples of avoiding going to certain restaurants, avoiding dogs, avoiding doctor's appointments, avoiding this, avoiding that. Actively stepping in means that you are on purpose giving your child the opportunity to feel uncomfortable so they can get to the other side. The goal is not to ensure that your child feels comfortable all the time. You know that saying that people use all the time, well, I want you to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. I go, no, I just want you to be uncomfortable and then be, yeah, I got through it. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It really is.
Okay, what's number 3?
Number 3 is that I really want families to pay attention to how they're promoting what we call an external focus. So how are you doing things that are getting you out of your head, that are allowing you to contribute in some way outside of yourself? Anxiety and depression are internalizing disorders, which means that we do the bulk of the work on the inside. And even if we're taking it out of the realm of anxiety and depression and just talking about really good functioning, the more time we spend inside of our heads, ruminating, analyzing, thinking about things, going over conversations, that's where worry shows up, the worse we get, actually. One of the things we know helps human beings, and it can be kids, teenagers, adults, is when they are contributing something that is meaningful outside of themselves. So you and I have talked about this a lot, Robin, the value of having a part-time job, the value of kids getting their babysitting license, giving kids jobs at school in which they are mentoring younger kids or they are helping somebody out. Having your child be externally focused on something that makes them feel as if they are contributing. That means chores. That means helping younger siblings. That means helping you out. One of the rules I had in my house when my boys were little was that if I ask you to do something, you will do it. And it was all reasonable stuff. But how are you contributing to your school, to your job, to your family, to your friendships? Get out of your head. Externally focused.
I think feeling useful is a critical feeling that every human should feel.
Yep.
We should feel useful after a certain age. 6, isn't that probably what Maria Montessori would have said?
Yep.
Actually, I think she had people sweeping until 6, and then you were supposed to go to regular school, right? Like that was her principle. It's like a 3-year-old can do stuff.
And I talk about this in the anxiety audit. They put a nursery school in a senior living home, and the mutual benefit of the little kids going and hanging out with and helping the older people. If somebody was in a wheelchair, they were delivering a drink, bringing snacks, and then the older people helping out with the little kids. It was an incredible success. I don't understand why we don't do that
everywhere.
I know. It is just an amazing model, but it was both of those groups finding a way to feel useful in a very reciprocal way. It was brilliant.
That's lovely. Okay, are we at number 4 now?
We are at number 4. Number 4 is closely related to number 3. This is really paying attention to your kids' social connections. So particularly, we're talking about January. I live in New England. We tend to sort of hibernate and hole up a little bit. But really paying attention to, are you teaching your kids, are you modeling for your kids how to socially connect? We don't have to have kids involved in team sports if that's not their thing. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. But really pay attention to how your kids enjoy other people, whether or not they have hobbies or activities or anything that develops those really, really important social connections. Do they have a few friends? I was actually just talking to my cousin recently, and she started playing mahjong. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was talking to her, and then I was talking to my friend who lives out in Colorado. They're both a little older than me. And they're like, all right, we're learning this new skill. We're going and being with people. It's really kind of socially stimulating. At any age, we really want to pay attention because isolation is one of the huge risk factors. So we're paying attention to that.
Can we talk about friendships for 1 second too,
Yes.
as parents?
Yes.
Ask yourself what your kids' opinions are of who gets them best, and do they align with you? I can give you an example that I mentioned this to you actually, where one parent was very excited that her daughter was a freshman going off to college. She rushed for a sorority and got into what was considered one of the top houses on that campus. But then the daughter, in fact, did a study abroad program and found a very different type of friend group that she said, I've found my people. But the mom had a hard time that it wasn't the same people that she was into. We got to embrace who the right friends are for our kids, even if they aren't the right friends for us.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think we all think of like, well, what works for us will work for them. And that's really hard for parents to let go of. They have this idea in their head of sort of who the best fit is. And who the best fit is who the best fit is.
That's right. We're talking about our own families on this episode. So I don't think my brother has ever listened to this podcast either.
Yeah.
But my brother is a really smart kind of engineering type. And when he was younger, he found friends that also were into early computers at the time and the audio-visual crew and everything. And my mom did not have any experience with those types of little boys. So she didn't know that was in fact his people.
Yeah.
So she did a lot to sort of not help encourage that connection.
Mm-hmm.
And as a parent, the second I was in that position, I thought about that and thought about, we got to let our kids be who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And we want them to hang out with people who get them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they haven't found people who got them yet, what could you be doing to help them?
Mm-hmm. Right. And the thing too is that it's okay if they're trying to find the people who get them and there's a few missteps along the way.
There's going to be.
Yep. Like I have a family that I'm working with, and it's clear that the friendship that one of these girls has is, well, I can think of actually 4 families where this is and they're all about the same age, right? It's all that sort of end of middle school age. The friendships that they are engaged in are concerning to the parents because the parents are seeing like, this is not a good fit for my kid. And it's hard sometimes for kids to recognize that and to give up those friendships and to let go of that. We've got to help them with that. It's a lot of trial and error. Our job as parents is to tolerate the distress of that trial and error.
Well, you've asked questions before, like when you are assessing a good friend and is it a healthy connection? The child might be, according to the parents, like that's not really the child I want hanging out with my friend. But I've heard you ask the kids very smart questions to help them assess who they should be hanging out with. What are some of those questions?
So, well, for one, does this person make good decisions? Does this person want you to do things that aren't in keeping with who you are? So pay attention to that. When you are with this person, do they listen to you? Do they find you enjoyable?
Or interesting?
Do you guys have shared interests? Do you make each other laugh? Are there things play together or do together that are kind of interesting and exciting? Like I remember my son had this group of friends and they were building a computer, right? I mean, that's something I don't know anything about. But the amount of energy and the excitement that they had as they were building this computer, you could see that it was just like he was with his people. as he was doing this. So that's what you want to pay attention to. What's the energy? What's the enthusiasm? Do these kids respect each other? It's tough. Like there's some amount of teasing that goes on for sure, and some amount of boy stuff that goes on in terms of they can be pretty hard on each other, and girls too. I just raised boys. But you watch and see the energy that goes into it.
Right. And you help them learn how to find good friends
Mm-hmm.
and emphasize to them, you just did this with this person and you seem like you're glowing.
Yeah.
Why are you glowing? What was it about that? And I think that those are the things that we can do to help them find the right people to hang out with and to look for.
Yeah. But I don't want parents to get really worried and concerned that their kids aren't with the right people, particularly during elementary school and middle school, and even into the early years of high school, because there is a lot of trial and error for sure. And that's totally normal and it's okay. Yeah.
But that's the point, is that there are going to be some misfires.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have even just like certain aspects of that friendship, that's something that they should think about. Like, that's a good trait. I like friends who do this.
Yeah. Yep. And it's really okay to say to kids, when you're with Sarah and you guys have a play date together, you guys go out and do something together, the way you come back into the house after you're with her, I can just see it on your face. And to say, what is it about Sarah that you come back into the house like with a skip in your step and you're excited to tell me about things? What is it about her? It's okay to have them begin to think about those things. That's how we choose the people that we want to be friends with. It's also how we choose the people that we want to partner with and all sorts of things.
That's right. Well, we'll take a break and we have two more.
Hey, so I was recently going through a whole bunch of photo albums and looking at my phone. I was gathering pictures together for a family event. I thought I should really just put these all together in a book. It's a really great idea to take a family event, to even take the last year and put it together in a book, a yearbook that highlights a favorite memory, a moment. The goal is to create a high quality photo book. It usually takes so much time, but the way that Journey Print works is that it has got a smart algorithm that generates the layouts. They're sorted by date. There is quick and easy editing. Have you ever tried to use some of those other companies? I mean, it's a pain in the neck. This is easy. There is premium satin or glossy paper. It's got a very high quality feel, sustainable production. They've got custom themes for personalization. They even include built-in maps and dates so that your Journey Print book, your year in review, tells stories. It's not just photos. It really is a wonderful expression of what's important to you and your family. So go to journeyapp.com/podcast/Flusterclux and use the code Flusterclux to get 30% off your next purchase. That's Journey, spelled JOURNI, app.com/podcast/Flusterclux and use code Flusterclux at checkout. Hey, it's the new year. Time for a wardrobe refresh? Quince has you covered with luxe essentials that feel effortless and look polished. They're perfect for layering, mixing, building a wardrobe that lasts. Their versatile styles make it easy to reach for them day after day, and that's what I've been doing. This past month, I had a ton of travel. I had a lot of presentations. I was packing, unpacking, needed to get dressed and undressed, looking good, looking polished, and I want items in my wardrobe that are easy, that I can put them on day after day. I can wash them, I can iron them, and I look polished, I look professional, and the quality is just evident. If you are looking for great pieces that are not over the top expensive, if you are looking to get the most wear out of your wardrobe, go with Quince. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/fluster for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/fluster to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/fluster. I love the new masterclass by Anna Lemke. She is an amazing author, a speaker. She's a professor at Stanford, and she's talking about dopamine, everybody. She gives a class on how dopamine controls our impulses and what you can do to manage the chemical dopamine in your brain in a way that actually is helpful. We live in Dopamine Nation, which was actually the name of her amazing book. And this masterclass is so informative, so engaging. You're going to love it. So interesting. And if you like to cook, oh my gosh, Alice Waters, that class is amazing. There are Mexican cooking classes, intuitive cooking classes. There is so much to choose from. It's hard to do anything else. So with Masterclass, remember, you can learn from the best to become your best. Plans start at $10 a month, billed annually. You get unlimited access to over 200 classes taught by the world's best business leaders, writers, chefs, and more. There's a great class on parenting that is going to give you concrete things that you can do as a parent. There are thousands of bite-sized lessons across 13 categories. It is time for you to learn. Right now, our listeners get an additional 15% off of any annual membership at masterclass.com/fluster. That's 15% off at masterclass.com/fluster. Masterclass.com/fluster. Okay, so now back to the show.
Okay, Lynn, what's number 5?
Number 5 is going to surprise no one. This is about paying attention to the activity level of your kids. Movement is so important. The thing that I am hearing more and more is this idea that kids are fragile. And I've said this when I've been talking about teenagers recently, is that they're using the term mental health. If you substitute in the word fragility, it kind of makes more sense. It's sort of like, I can't do this because of my fragility. But we really want kids to push the limits a little bit, even physically. So one of the things that the research shows is that the more that they are climbing trees, the more that they're learning how to ride a bike, but you want your kids to take physical risks. You want them to be active. You want them to be using their physical selves. The interesting thing about that is that that's really good for executive function. It's really good for them developing confidence in other ways. So active movement, less of this fragility talk. If you are a parent who's like really worried about your child getting hurt all the time and you're expressing that, it is really okay for kids to get scrapes and bruises. It's okay for them to push themselves physically in a way that makes you a little uncomfortable. It's okay.
And you let your son jump out of an airplane.
I did. Yeah. I did. I wasn't thrilled about that. He has broken 4 bones. He has gotten hurt much worse riding a bike. He fell off a ladder. He fell off our front step. Yeah. Jumping out of a plane was probably one of the more safe things that he did, actually.
Or just like the least physically harmful.
Yeah. There were a lot more safety checks when he apparently jumped out of the plane than when he climbed up the ladder at work. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, number 6.
Number 6 is the message that feelings and moods and thoughts are temporary and malleable. So if you are working with your child, if you've got a kid, particularly maybe if they're sort of tweener or adolescent-y, when they get angry, when they get upset, when they're distressed, when they're sad, I don't want parents to freak out about that. I want them to help their child navigate through that. But I want everyone to recognize and to use the language that you feel like this now, but it's not going to last forever, that we move through difficult things. It's okay that you feel that way, but this is not a permanent condition.
I was so excited that my daughter, she just turned 20, but we just took a road trip to New York City, and then we came back. And then I asked her something, and she's now at the point, and I don't know if she'd ever said this before, and I she'll never say it again, but she looked at me and she just said, "Mom, my social battery is pretty done for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go upstairs." Instead of snapping at me or saying something grouchy back, I was like, "Oh, that is incredible." I was like, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
And it occurred to me, we should have just been modeling that even sooner. My battery's pretty empty. I think I need to do this or that.
Mm-hmm.
Just modeling that the moods and the feelings move on through.
Mm-hmm. Move on through. And I think that one of the things too is that people take that personally. So say your kid is home from college like yours was, or say you've got a child who's doing this or that, and they say, oh, I've had enough of this, or I'm going to go and do this. Or if you've got a child who tends to be more introverted, like we talked about in that episode, which means they kind of enjoy their time alone and they're doing activities where they're reading or imagining, they are not rejecting you. They are going off. They are saying, I need to do something. My social battery is done, or I enjoy this. I think that one of the things that happens currently that I see a lot is that parents are so nervous about their kids having feelings that they do everything to try and keep their child happy and content all the time. And really allowing your kid the opportunity to be irritated or frustrated or disappointed or bored, let them be bored, is all really, really good practice for managing emotions that come and go, thoughts that come and go. Moods come and go. I can be in a really, really crappy mood at the beginning of the day and a really fine mood at the end of the day. And it has a lot to do with whether I moved my body, how my work went, whether or not I'm hungry. Let the feelings come and go, and don't feel like you need to step in whenever your kid is having a feeling or a mood. You can say, oh, it sounds like you might need some time alone. Don't take it personally and don't make it a big deal. Let the feelings come and go. They are malleable, they are changeable, and tell your kids that on a regular basis. Yeah, I get that you're feeling this way, right? My mom used to say, it'll get better before you get married. She used to say that all the time. Most things did.
Yeah. It's a weird phrase. I think as a Southerner, I would have heard that.
I know. I've never heard anybody else say it, actually. It's an original. I don't know where she heard it either. Yeah. But it was a message of this is not permanent.
Mm-hmm. The world will still turn is what my mom always said.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The world will still turn. Yep. The sun will come out tomorrow, as Annie taught us. Thanks for listening. And if you found this podcast helpful, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps other people find this information.
And if you'd like to dig deeper on any of these topics, we have specialized playlists on our Spotify profile, and the link is in the show notes. Topics like teens, depression, and OCD. Bye, Lynn.
Bye, Robin.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.